I'll let you
The
pick.
Chaldean Secret.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
What does that mean?
All right. This is one of the things on one of the DVDs of the album is called The Chaldean Secret. And this is, in Genesis 12, God says, I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. Now, this is the Abrahamic covenant. But we've never fully gotten into the depths of this. And this thing has affected world history from the days of Pharaoh to our day. And what I want to just give you an idea of, and there's more to it than we think, but what I give an idea of is that this thing goes back in ancient times, how exact this is. So I want to show you how it happened, how exact this is in ancient history. You know, you see in Daniel the four kingdoms. You see the lion with the wings, that's Babylon. You see the bear. When God said to Abraham, I will bless those who bless you, curse those. You think, okay, you got that. But it's more than that. It's the principle of reciprocity. Not just I will bless those who bless you, but I will do to you as you have done to Israel. So it's not just blessing and curses. It's in the same way God will do to that nation or kingdom. So let me give you an example. Let me show you how exact this is. Egypt. Okay, what did Egypt do? Egypt enslaved the Jewish people, took their things, stripped them of their possessions, stripped them, made them slaves. What happened to Egypt? At the same time that you have the Exodus, all of a sudden in its history, the great Egyptian empire, which is the center of the world, suddenly collapses. Everything collapses. And what happens is, from that moment on, Egypt keeps descending and descending and descending till it becomes used by the other nations. It actually becomes a slave of other nations. For the rest of its history, it is stripped, it is defrauded. As they did to Israel, that's what happened to Egypt. It becomes a second-rate power from the greatest kingdom in the world. Becomes literally a slave to nations. That's Egypt. What's the next great power? We spoke about it today. Assyria. The Assyrian empire of terrorism, brutality. What did they do? This is the harbinger. They came in, they brutally destroyed Israel, the northern kingdom. They razed it to the ground. They massacred the people. They took the others away, and there you have the 10 lost tribes. You don't know. There's still argument about where they are. It ended the northern kingdom of Israel. So according to the ancient principle of the Abrahamic covenant, what would happen to Assyria? Well, what happened to Assyria is in 612 BC, the other nations rise up. Babylon rises up. All these nations rise up in a fury, and they completely wipe out the Assyrian empire, just like that. Wiped out, as they had done to Israel. There is barely a trace of it left. When Alexander the Great went by where Nineveh and all, he didn't even know there was anything there. It was just a little mound. Assyria was wiped out more than almost any nation has ever been wiped. As they wiped out Israel, the northern kingdom, Assyria was wiped out and became ruins, exactly as they had done to Israel. Next kingdom, the lion with the wings, Babylon. What did Babylon do to Israel? They were bad. They weren't as bad as Assyria, but they were bad. What they did is, they didn't totally wipe out. What they did is, they did destroy the land, but they took the people of Israel out of Israel. They deported them to Babylon, the great Babylonian captivity. They exiled them. They depopulated Jerusalem, so it became a ghost city. Now think about the Abrahamic covenant. What happened to Babylon? Babylon, if you read on and what happened to that city, Babylon became depopulated. The citizens were removed from Babylon. There was an empty city, just like they had done to Jerusalem. And God says, you look at the prophecies, Isaiah and Jeremiah, it says, it'll be abandoned, not even the animals will dwell there. Well, that's exactly what happened. Babylon became a ghost city, just as they had made Jerusalem. Let's look at the next one. The bear, Persia. What happened to Persia? Persia, well, what did they do to Israel first? Persia rose up. They took over Babylon, and then under Cyrus, they said, go back, you can go back to Israel. We'll let you continue as a nation. You know, Israel could think we're finished, but God says, I'm going to raise up Cyrus, and he's going to say, go back, you can go back to Israel. So what he did, now you can't be a great kingdom, but you can go back and you can be a province of Persia. So you'll go back, you can continue your history, but under us as a lesser version of the kingdom you were. That's what they did. What did then God do to Persia? They're the only one that let Israel continue. God, therefore, allowed Persia to continue as a nation. It's the only one. Because they let them go. But not as they were the great Persian Empire. He let them continue as they did to Israel as a smaller version of the great empire. So what happens, if you read on history, you have these other empires that rise up from Persia, the Parthian Empire. You can go through the whole list. They keep rising up. They keep having revivals, just like they let Israel revive. But each one is smaller, basically, than the great Persian Empire, smaller and smaller, till you get to even the 20th century when you have the Shah of Iran trying to revive the Persian Empire. Smaller, smaller, smaller. And what is Persia? Persia is Iran. It's the one beast that was allowed exactly as they had done to Israel, God did to them. Let's now move to the leopard with 4 heads, the leopard Greece. What did Greece do to Israel? Well, under Alexander the Great was pretty neutral. He swept through. But then his 4 generals divided up the empire. You have Antiochus Epiphanes, the guy who brought you Hanukkah, the foreshadow of the Antichrist, desecrated the temple, all that. He decided, we're going to eradicate the Jewish faith. We're going to spiritually fight this. We're going to end the God of Israel and all that. Well, what happened is, soon after that, Antiochus falls as a king. You won't read this in Hanukkah. This happened after Hanukkah. He falls as a king, and then within about 100 years, his empire is virtually powder, nothing. So God destroyed it. But this is deeper. What Greece did, or the civilization of Greece, is they sought to end the ways of God more than even the land. They used the Greek ways. They said, we will replace the God of Israel with the God of the Greeks. The Jewish people will worship Zeus. We will use Greek culture. Greek culture would come in. We're going to do Greek language, and it almost worked. The Jewish people started speaking Greek, and all that. What did God do to Greece? The Greeks. What he did is, as they tried to eradicate the faith in God and replace it with the gods of the Greeks, God replaced the God of the Greeks with the gospel of Israel.
Wow.
He did the exact thing that they tried to do. In fact, he even used, you have the word today, you have the word synagogue. That's a Greek word. There are a lot of things in Hebrew, that's actually a Greek word. The diaspora, the dispersion of the Jews, Greek word, all the Greek words. But the thing is, what happened is they tried to use the Greek culture and Greek language to spread the Greek ways and eradicate the faith in Israel. God used the Greek language to eradicate the pagan ways and bring the gospel, the Greek. That's why the New Testament's in Greek. It's part of the Abrahamic covenant. God used what the enemy used against God. God takes the very thing and uses it for God. And most of us have found the Lord through a Greek version of this. So God, it's amazing how this works in history. And I'll share one more, because this is the final kingdom of the ancient world. And we'll just another time I can go throughout all history up to now. But we have a word for America. But the last one was the kingdom of Rome. What did Rome do to Israel? Rome came into Israel. Rome destroyed Israel. But Rome scattered Israel across the world. If you see Jewish people now and they're not in Israel, it's because of Rome. Why I'm here? Because of Rome. God, did all, but they came in there, they destroyed the temple, all these things destroyed. They destroyed what they thought was the Jewish faith, but they scattered Israel all across the world, diaspora, scattered them to the ends of the earth, all the way from home. It broke up Israel like powder. Just like it says in Daniel, this one will crush in powder, will crush everything. Well, what did God do to Rome? As they had done to Israel, God broke up Rome. First he split them in two. Then what he did is he totally disintegrated Rome and scattered it to the world. What do I mean? Let me tell you how. Let me give you an example. The language of Rome was Latin. What did he do? He scattered it to the world, so that now it becomes French, Spanish, Portuguese, Romanian, Italian. He literally, that's why you have all that, because God scattered in pieces Rome. Across the world, why do you have all across the world? You have leaders called dukes or duchess, or you have a senate in America, you have a president, all after the Roman system. All around the world, the Roman system of government is there, but it's been broken in pieces. You go to Washington, D.C., that's Roman architecture. All around the world has been spread. You look at Roman Catholicism, it's all split up, dioceses, that's the Roman split. All these things are based on Rome, scattered to the ends of the world. He took Rome and did exactly what they did to the Jewish people. Continued, they affected the world, so has Rome. It's a whole other thing. We talk about the ghost kingdom that's linked to what's coming. But Rome never fully stopped. Rome has been scattered around the world, just as they did to the Jewish people. God is exact. So let me just give one thing. We'll stop right there. There's so much to share about every empire, including America. But I'll just say one word about America. Is it an accident? It says, as you have done. Is it an accident that America just happens to be the nation in modern history that blessed the Jewish people by receiving them in, giving them refuge more than any other nation, blessed Israel more than any, supported them more than any nation, just happens to be the same nation that is the most blessed, has been the most blessed nation on earth. God said it, he did it, he's faithful. But the warning is, as you do to Israel, so it shall be done to you, and to much is given, much is required. We've been blessed, among other things, as we have blessed Israel. But in the last 8 years, we've seen something else. We've seen the worst deterioration in the history of America and Israel. If you abandon, think about now think about the mystery, the Chaldean mystery. If you abandon Israel, what shall happen to you? If you place Israel in danger, what shall happen to you? If you divide up the land of Israel, what shall happen to your nation? That is the warning. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. God is real. God, the God of Israel, is the God of the universe, and he's real. And when he gives a word, it's true. Depend on it. Take it seriously because it's true. And if he gives a warning, take it seriously. And if he gives a promise, if he's kept his promise to Abraham for 4,000 years, he will surely keep his promise to you.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
Oh, God.